Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you this morning. We got Tether in the news. USD Tether, you're going to want it. XRP buyback is ruffling feathers. Institutions moving into the crypto space. A new BIS report, and you're going to want every single bit of that. Digital Euro Foundation, Digital Pound Foundation, and Ripple. TikTok goes to clock. Could we see a ruling on the SEC Ripple case this week? We'll get into that. And could XRP overtake Ethereum? Somebody roll that beautiful intro and let's find out.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, everything that we're talking about here today. And you can give a follow on TikTok at Digital Perspectives, no spaces, for exclusive content there as well. And Facebook at Digital Perspectives News. $931 billion market cap for crypto. Lots of money missing this morning, but we're up 2.2%. Good morning, everybody. It's July 5th, 2022. Bitcoin, 19,700 plus. Ethereum, 1,100 plus right now. And we see at the number 7 spot this morning, moving up one. It is 32 cent XRP. We're still off by more than 9% on the 7-day. The range of price this morning for XRP is 31 cents on the bottom, 33 cents on the top. We're up almost 2% on the 24-hour. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for private equity, like actual Ripple shares, you can get them on link2.com. You can click the link underneath the video and get those shares. You can get Link2 shares, which is bringing you some of the best blockchain fintech companies in the space that are helping to build the digital asset space, like Uphold, BitPay, and many, many others, as you can see here. Don't mess around. These things don't last long. Look at that. You can see fully subscribed, fully subscribed. These things go very, very quickly, so make sure you download the app. And if you are accredited and you already belong to Link2, make sure you click the link underneath my video, so if there's any special deals, you are insured to get them. Take a look right here. More bleeding in the crypto market as Vault halts withdrawals and hires legal and financial services. Singapore-based crypto trading and lending platform with most of its team in India has suspended withdrawals. And I said there's more bleeding in the crypto market. Investment banks are going to be buying pennies on the dollar like it's an estate sale. How much further down would the market go if and when the SEC sues an exchange or two? And we could possibly see a USD Tether rug pull. Dry powder is loaded and ready for purchases, ladies and gentlemen. That much I can tell you. This was shared here by John Deaton, and it was after Jason A. Williams' tweet said Celsius will get acquired by a traditional bank, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, etc. It says, wait and see if CeFi distresses assets are an easy target. And it's exactly what I'm talking about the large investment banks coming in and buying up this space, pennies on the dollar like it's an estate sale. John Deaton says, no doubt about it. He had said the same thing on Charles Payne's show about incumbent banks helping crash the market, buy near or at the bottom, and then promote it as the greatest opportunity of a lifetime. That is what I see happening as well right there. This story ain't over by a long short. No shot, no short. Now, I covered this yesterday, but very quickly, USD Tether says they are, not just USD Tether, hedge funds have made large bets against USD Tether following the US Terra collapse. USD Tether is doing everything they can right now to maintain their peg and stay collateralized, but it does say they have cut their holdings a bit. Now, we're looking right here, and this is stablecoin issuer Tether has cut its holdings of commercial paper by 58%. When we go into the article very quickly here, it says that the issuer cut its holdings of commercial paper by 58% to 8.5 billion, with a further reduction to 3.5 billion expected at the end of the month as it seeks to tackle speculation about the quality of support for its dollar-pegged USDT token. The company held 20.1 billion of commercial paper in May, According to an update on Tether's website, it's aiming to bring the figure down to zero as it diversifies its holdings into U.S. Treasury bonds. So you can already see how they're trying to shift. The problem is look, I go back to what Caitlin Long said about Celsius, who had a license. Just because you're licensed doesn't mean you're regulated. And I tell you what, that is really, really something that's not going away. So we shall see. I hope for the best, but we shall see. If those things happen, suing an exchange by the SEC, a collapse of the USD Tether, I think this market's got a lot more to go on as far as down in price. We shall see, though. Right here, we hear talks rumbling about the XRP buyback again. It was brought up by a post where someone asked John Deaton, what if XRP is labeled a security? What happens then? And he cited a case called Veritasium, I believe it is, and the Veri token, which had a situation where there was a buyback scenario, I believe. And he mentioned that. And that brought up the whole idea of a buyback and the Fed proposed deal of an extremely high price. Now, this ruffles a lot of feathers. I will say this. First of all, I hope we never have to go down that path. But it's important for us to educate ourselves because what does history tell us? The United States did this to gold. They confiscated gold from their citizens. That happened. Now, you could try to act like it did not happen, but it did happen. So because it happened, I'm willing to entertain it. I don't know if it goes that way. There are a lot of different possibilities and outcomes about this case, and we have no choice, as far as I'm concerned, but to speculate all of the possibilities of the outcome of it happening and not happening. And I think we do a good job of that, understanding that these are things we should consider, because I don't know about you, but I've got very real money invested in these things that I believe in. And I am not afraid to look at the good scenarios and the bad scenarios or unfavorable scenarios and how that may or may not affect me. So I'm not saying this will happen, but in a XRP buyback scenario, remember this. You can't have a legal sale if you don't have full disclosures on fair market use case, a la Ripple Private Ledger. To know the true price of something, you need to know the true use and value before you can accept an offer should we go down that path. Now, I know here we see somebody like Costa who says, didn't waste a second of attention seeking off John's mention of a buyback. There is no damn private ledger. Yes, there is. And Ripple has it on their website. You follow that up with the erroneous use of fair market value disclosures, let Jimmy promote his own BS. Well, you're promoting BS. There is a Ripple private ledger. They've announced it. And this is where I feel like, look, no one's saying it could happen. It's going to happen 100%. We're saying we want to be protected, so we need to consider this impossible, unfavorable outcome. And if it does go this way, we may need another John Deaton or two to come into this space to help us all in the representation of such a thing. Because remember, John Deaton's representing that we are not a security, right? So if it's found that we are, we may need John Deaton and a few more people to join his efforts to try to handle the scenario should it break this way. But remember, just full disclosure, gold was confiscated from its U.S. residents and the rest of the world was allowed to hold it. So the idea of when people ask, well, what happens to people who own XRP around the rest of the world? It could be the same outcome as it was for gold, couldn't it? I hope we never need it. But that is something we should be prepared and educated as much as we can on. Just like this. We can say, or can we say, Dark Defender says, that institutions suddenly get on stage and secured unique addresses while they are collecting XRP gently from your hands as they did in the mid-90s by collecting internet company shares from the ones selling in panic. You know, Dark Defender makes such a great point here because that happened in the mid-90s. People were like, oh, this internet thing, it's not going to happen. They had stock in other companies like Ripple and Amazon, and then or Apple and Amazon, and then they sold it all. And then what happened? It exploded in growth. I think that this is very analogous to the moment that we're in with crypto, not financial advice. And we have to ask ourselves, who are those 200,000 unique addresses that really set a record and exploded on June 30th? Nathan Price right here is digging down in the same area I've been digging. Well, we got the shovels going, Nathan, and I love it. Bravo to you. He says, I will sell my Group 1 crypto assets with an effective stabilization mechanism pegged to the value of 1 ounce of gold. 37,000 sounds like a deal you can't refuse, Federal Reserve. BIS conditions for classifying crypto assets. They have 2 groupings, ladies and gentlemen, a Group 1 and Group 2. This is based on the news that just recently came out that the BIS said that banks are allowed to hold up to 1% of crypto like Bitcoin, 1% of crypto like Bitcoin in their reserves. And it is a Group 1 asset, which means these are those crypto assets that meet a set of classification conditions. Group 1 crypto assets subject to, it was a Group 2 asset, which fails to meet any of the classification conditions. What we're interested in is the Group 1, which I believe possibly assets like XRP and XLM may fall into. And you may see a larger reserve amount other than 1% like Bitcoin and other crypto. So this is something to pay attention to, but there's more. I dug down in a report that came out here by the BIS. Paper assesses interdependencies inherent in big tech business models based on publicly available information on big companies like Alibaba, Amazon, Grab, Jumia, Mercado Libre, and Rakuten. This looks like a job for XRP Ledger, XRP XLM, systemically important, ladies and gentlemen. It really does. If you take a look at what they're talking about in here, growing reliance on a large number of financial institutions on technological services provided by a small number of big techs make the continuity of those services systemically relevant. Listen to the verbiage here, where 4 big techs control close to 2/3 of the global market for cloud computing. It says a disruption in one of these big techs could have systemic implications for the financial system. Therefore, the need for big techs to implement best-in-class operational resilience and cybersecurity framework is imperative to mitigate financial stability risk. Okay, now that sounds like a reason to adopt new technology. And this is the report that we are looking at and seeing excerpts from. It says here, the existing regulatory framework was not formulated with closely connected digital platform ecosystems in mind. So they're acknowledging the gaps in the current regulatory framework may require the development of specific entity-based rules for big tech operations in the financial sector. These rules could take the form of a new regulatory framework that allows authorities to control risk emerging the combination of financial and non-financial activities. This framework would benefit from imposing requirements, including or strengthening operational resilience. In short term, authorities can rely on indirect approach to mitigate financial stability risk. One is to identify risks stemming from interdependencies on these non-financial institutions and platforms, regulated financial entities that are members of big tech groups, and evaluate potential risk mitigants. To withstand disruptive events, including cyber attacks, take measures to further strengthen operational resilience if needed. Yet another option, authorities, is to intensify their monitoring efforts in relation to critical third-party service providers. Now, that sounds like a systemically important designation spun a different way, and using direct oversight powers over them. That sounds a lot like FSOC coming our way, ladies and gentlemen, is what it sounds like to me. And this is Brad Garlinghouse some time ago describing exactly what Ripple is doing here. And they are a plumber to the global financial infrastructure. Take a listen.
I don't think right now digital assets and blockchain are solving consumer problems. I mean, you think about I think 100% of the examples you heard us all talk about were infrastructure. You know, I describe myself as we're a plumber to the global financial infrastructure. And that's not about going to Starbucks and using XRP to buy a coffee.
Yeah.
You could do that, hypothetically, and Starbucks could choose to accept that. But I don't think that's where we are.
And we are not there at that point right now.
Tock, one of the founders of the Ethereum ecosystem, he was on a panel at a Ripple event, and the question he was asked was, who's the competition? And he pulled out a $20 Canadian bill and said, this is the competition. I couldn't disagree more. If we go out and say we're going to attack the system or attacking fiat, at the same event, we had Ben Bernanke come and speak, and he's like, look, central governments will control M1 money supply. This is fundamental to being a sovereign nation.
That's exactly right. And he's also said they will roll out the tanks before they let something like that happen. And European Central Bank reportedly preparing to implement a new law by warning European Union member states about the necessity of harmonizing regulations for crypto, ladies and gentlemen. None of this is an accident. Digital Euro Association, Ripple, right on there as a member. Also the same exact place where James Wallace, the head of expanding central bank expansion for launching CBDCs. Take a listen.
Right, we're using the same technology that it's with the XRP ledger. The token would be the CBDC, right? So the central bank would actually create their own token, a digital euro, digital dollar, whatever the market is, and that becomes the digital asset.
So that becomes the digital asset. Keep listening.
The native coin.
The native coin, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, where XRP could come into play potentially is when you're looking at cross-border CBDC. So when you have a digital dollar and you have a digital, real, or digital pound, you obviously need to have some way to interact cross-border. Yeah. So I think the BIS call this a multi-CBDC model. One of the ideas is you use a sort of a neutral bridge currency to go from one to the other, similar to the model I explained earlier, with our on-demand liquidity. But the core offering really is not XRP. There's no XRP involved. It's the native token is the CBDC.
And there you have it. And that's exactly right. Because if you've built your value protocol correctly, CBDCs and stablecoins are the native tokens on those protocols. XRP is just a bridge where it's needed. One more time for the people in the back. The value's in the protocol. And they are a part of the Digital Euro Association. And the ECB and the European Union just put out rules on stablecoins and cryptocurrencies, and to have harmony in the entire EU. Now let's switch gears very quickly here, because we are waiting and could possibly hear a ruling on the Hinman emails this week or next week. Jeremy Hogan says the only thing we're waiting for is Judge Netburn to rule on the disclosure of the Hinman emails. That should be next week. That was just 2 days ago. So that could be this week or next week. We shall see. However you like to look at it, we'll keep an eye on it. It is very close to a decision, and I think that decision can tell us whether we're going to a settlement a lot quicker or a summary judgment. We shall see. Right here in short term, Eggrag Crypto says, where are we going here? Are we going in the direction up or down here, where we're going to the 27 cent or lower, or are we going up here in the 40 to 50 cent range or even higher? So we don't know. But I tell you, if we get a ruling that's favorable in the Ripple case, I think that fundamental news could move the price the way we need it to. But this is a reminder. A very, very good reminder, I believe, of how things can work and move quite quickly in this space. CoinsKid tells us and reminds us, on this day, 6 years ago, Ethereum was trading at around $10. It's over $1,100 today, ladies and gentlemen. Please guess what Ethereum will be trading at 6 years from now, and he will give you 1 XRP to the closest person. I remind you that Ethereum 6 years ago was $10, and now it's over $1,100, and its fees are $10 for a transaction, which we all know is not a solution for the future. So I ask you, if XRP's transaction fee is fractions of a penny here, What might the price of XRP be 6 years from now? And can it overtake Ethereum, understanding that it is way more cost effective to use it? Not financial advice from me, but I can tell you this is my digital perspective. I absolutely believe that XRP has a chance to overturn and flip Ethereum in price and market cap, because I believe in free markets. I believe in innovation. And once we have this case out of the way that is absolutely hindering the ability for free markets to operate and compete freely, once that's out of the way, there is no stopping XRP. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I'll catch all of you on the next one.